cat food that blends cultivated meat and plant proteins. I mean, this is the holy grail of veganism.
I Welcome to the Hen Report. This is Jasmin Singer.
This is Mariann Sullivan.
The Hen Report is, of course, part of our hen house, and our hen house is taking over the airwaves. Well, not really, but it feels like that sometimes. As a reminder, Rising Anxieties comes out on Tuesdays, the Hen Report on Thursdays, and the long-form interview on Fridays. Bonus for Flock members, which is some extra little content you get, comes out on Mondays. And of course, we are a podcast and on YouTube, so please hit subscribe and like wherever you listen or watch. So
somebody asked me the other day why we added YouTube. Why did we add YouTube?
I don't know. You wanted us to. It's your fault.
You know, it was my idea. I think it's because a lot of people listen to podcasts on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean
I kind of do too. I don't know how I got into being this YouTube person, but I did.
Well,
it's a little addictive.
Yes, agreed. There's a lot going on right now just with the season changes. You know, it's such a weird, melancholy feeling for me. Like, I know a lot of people have some mood shifts when it becomes winter. I feel like I'm really feeling the fall, and it's melancholy. Like, it's a pretty feeling, but it's also kind of laced with, I don't know,
I have that.
sadness or something.
I mean, I still love it, but yeah, I think that's part of the autumnal mood. Though I try not to use the word autumn. I try to use the word fall. Do you know that I've said it so many times on this podcast.
You have.
I'm gonna say it again. But fall is an old Anglo-Saxon word that was brought over in the very early days when, you know, it was in the language when the Americas were first colonized by the British. And that was what people called it. And then the word autumn, which was, you know, also used because English became kind of a combination of French and English. It was the French version of the word, and it fell out of use in the UK. And a lot of people in the UK think it's an Americanism, but it isn't. I just love that.
So
story. I don't know why. It doesn't have anything to do with animals. Like, I just love that story. I think it's language is just so interesting.
I have a version of that. So when I was growing up, my grandma and my grandpa, and I think my mom, like when you had a sore throat or a cough or something, they would give you a little, you know, menthol thingy to suck. What do you call those?
Cough drop?
Or it begins with an L.
Lozenge?
Yes. My family calls it a lozenger. And so
lozenger.
Yeah, hang on.
I don't think anybody calls it a lozenge.
No, you're wrong. So I thought the word was lozenger, and so did my brother. Like, we just started saying lozenger, and then like we grew up, we got out into the forest, we were like, what the fuck is a lozenger? Do you mean a lozenge? And I'm like, yeah, we're a lozenger. I mean, it's either pronunciation.
I don't think really a lot of people use the word lozenge
No,
anymore.
so I looked it up.
That's at least a word.
So I looked it up, and it turns out that, like, it, according to the internet, which is always right, it is actually something that, like, a lot of old sort of New York Jews said.
Really?
And it had something to do with Yiddish. It had something to do with a derivation from Yiddish. Like, I honestly don't know if this is true, but I'm bringing it back and saying lozenger, which is perfect timing, because this tea that I drink when I'm performing in something called throat coat tea, I'm sure a lot of people know what it is.
Yeah.
They now have lozengers as well, throat coat lozenges. So I've been
Do they call them lozenges or lozenges?
Lozenges.
All right.
But I put
call
together
them cough drops myself.
I put together a little actor's survival kit kind of thing, because my rehearsals have officially begun for End of the Rainbow, which is the play that I'm doing where I play Judy Garland. It's in December. My life is now being overtaken.
Just prepare yourself for the rest of the podcast. It's all she talks about.
No, it's not. It's most of what I talk about. That and animal rights. That's kind of it. Like, those are the only two things. But so I have my lozengers, and I've been doing rehearsals, and that's kind of, I don't have that great of an update because that's all I'm thinking about. But I I have been keeping my finger on the pulse of what's going on with animals, and I know that we wanted to chat about some of it
Well, are
today.
you keeping up with the pulse of what's going on in the end of democracy in the United States of America?
Unfortunately,
Or are
I
you
do. I
ignoring
watch
that?
no, I
Because
watch,
I wish I could ignore
I
it.
watch MSNBC every day. I watch Rachel Maddow the day she's on. We watch the news. I read the New York Times.
Yeah.
So I'm sufficiently depressed. Don't you worry. Don't you worry your
Yeah.
pretty little head.
Yeah.
We're going to the No Kings protest on
We're
Saturday.
gonna fix it. We're gonna fix it this weekend
Oh
because we're
my
going to that
gosh.
protest.
Yeah, I
Are you?
wanna stay kind of around the edge. Like, I don't wanna be in the middle
I know you're
because
scared.
I just
You know, I don't
it
think there's a whole lot of reasons to be scared in Rochester, but
it's not that it's
I
not
think caution is called for, but being scared should not keep
hang on.
anybody away.
It's not that. It's like a claustrophobia thing, like how when
Right.
I go to
Well,
the theater,
yeah,
I need to sit on, like, an
I'm the same
aisle
way.
or near an
I'm the same way.
exit,
I
and
remember when I went to that protest, in the very early years of Trump's first administration, the Women's March.
yeah, I do too,
I
yeah.
was I was in Manhattan at the time, and I was in the middle of a plaza, a huge plaza with thousands of people, and I still get heart palpitations
I
thinking about it.
can't. That's
Yeah, it was awful.
awful. Yeah,
I
I
think I kinda
was
had to go to the bathroom too.
horrible.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, but the march was great. It was just I don't like I'm totally with you. I do not like to get trapped in the middle of large numbers of people.
Mhm.
But I really wanna go. I mean, I really need to go. I really do.
We're going.
Yes.
We are
Yes. I
going.
do. I don't have a good sign. Like I bought poster board, but I don't have a creative idea. I would
Just
kinda like to incorporate animals, but I don't know how.
just be
All right.
straightforward then.
So give it some thought.
Ask AI what to write.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know it is.
What have we become?
I saw this meme thing the other day, and it was like someone went into, like, a convenience store, and he had his phone with him, and the thing said, like, what how people who are obsessed with AI now communicate, and the person at the cashier desk was like, "Hi, sir, how are you?" And the guy, like, panicked and typed into his phone, "What do I say when someone says, 'How are you?'" And I kind of was like, I feel seen a little bit.
Oh man, it's
Yeah.
depressing.
Uh,
I feel
alright.
so, if I try to write something, I feel so stupid. Like, why are you wasting your time actually writing something when AI can do it so much better?
I'm so glad that my books came out before AI was available to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
because I feel like that would be an inner conflict I would have as
I'm not
well.
teaching this year, and I'm really relieved because I did not know what to do about it. I really didn't. I mean, I know people who teach professionally probably have had a lot of conversations and instruction on it, but I was just like stymied. The first year it was easy because if anybody did anything in AI, it was very obvious. It was very
Mhm.
clumsy. But last year it was. I didn't know how I was supposed to tell the difference.
Yeah, I know. Well, alright, let's cover some stories, shall we?
Yes.
Alright. Do you wanna start with our
All
good old
right, I
pal
have I
Kenny?
have a bunch of new good news stories, but first I'm going to do the weekly Kenny Torella report. What
That's
would he do if it
awesome.
wasn't for Kenny Torella? But I was particularly interested that he wrote about this topic. This is in Vox, of course, which is where he writes. Animal abusers are getting let off the hook. Trump and his Supreme Court are partly to blame.
Mm,
A lot of animal abuse is falling through the cracks. And what he's talking about here, he usually talks about animal agriculture, but he's really talking about something different here. He's talking about the enforcement of the Animal Welfare Act, which is something I've been interested in for a really long time. I did some writing on this. So, like when I first got involved in animal rights, this was a big issue. And I became very aware of how I mean, we all know that the Animal Welfare Act hardly covers any of the animals because it doesn't cover farm animals and some other animals, but it does cover animals in research, and I became very aware of how unbelievably poorly enforced it is, and how even the Department of Agriculture's own inspector general, which is the department, I don't even know, I think Trump got rid of the inspectors general, so I don't know whether this exists anymore, but maybe in the Department of Agriculture it does, I don't know. It's the department within a federal agency that's kind of the watchdog of the agency and points out does reports on what the agency is doing poorly, and it wrote so many reports on the failure to properly enforce the Animal Welfare Act. Apparently, It's not getting any better. In fact, it's gotten worse. I think it got a little better for a while, and then, but according to Kenny's article, there's a larger trend over the last 5 years. So we're not just talking about the Trump administration, of the USDA increasingly issuing warnings over actual enforcement actions like fines. And this has always been the pattern because the USDA is in the business of encouraging agriculture. When it regulates animal research or animal circuses or entertainment, it also treats those things as things that it is in the business of encouraging.
Mm.
Regulating, making sure they're okay, but we want them to succeed. And one of the ways they do that is to not really impose penalties when they find violations, but to encourage them to do a better job. So, of course they don't do a better job, and of course the enforcement is terrible because who cares? A USDA spokesman wrote in an email to Vox, USDA is continuously looking for opportunities to improve regulatory compliance. See, improve, not punish the wrongdoers. They just want to get people to do it a little better, and believes that regulatory correspondence, such as an official warning, can be a useful tool to encourage compliance and deter future noncompliance. Well, yeah, maybe not. I know that when David Wilson and I wrote that article on it was called Foxes in the Hen House on animal agriculture, not on this. He inserted in that an old Robin Williams joke. People even remember Robin Williams anymore.
Of course.
I age out of everything.
No. He's still relevant, believe
Talking
me.
about how police officers, that doesn't have anything to do with animals. Police officers in the UK didn't carry guns. I think they still don't. And his joke was like how they enforce the law is they say stop, or I'll say stop again, and that's pretty much the USDA. That's what they do. They just say stop, or or we'll say stop again. So this is a very depressing, but it is a good article, of course. And this seems like something that could be fixed, but the whole study has been done by the Animal Welfare Institute. Apparently, it is getting worse and worse.
Is there any hope on the horizon at all?
Well, that is the thing. I doubt that there's any hope that the government is going to do a better job. But there is hope in this, and that moves me on to my next article. But this is something I reported on, or we reported on, I think last week, and that's an ongoing thing. This is this article in the opinion section of the New York Times. Can Trump end this impossibly cruel practice? And it's talking about animal research and what she's talking about. This is by Deborah Blum, who wrote that book years ago, The Monkey Wars, about the case that led to the founding of PETA. That was a long time ago. Apparently, she's still interested in the topic, and this is about the fact that for whatever reason, and some people are suspicious that it's to save money or because it's anti-science, but for whatever reason, there has been a move away from animal research by NIH funding, and Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, the director of the NIH, announced the creation of a center focused on one or more of the promising technologies that could provide an alternative to animal testing. And, as she points out, there's a lot of speculation about motives, whether it's, to save money or what, but who cares? Justin Goodman from the White Coast Waste Project says, and I totally agree with him here, I don't care about motives. I care about outcomes. And, for whatever reason they're doing it, if they're reducing the amount of animal research, I'm for it. He did end up working with Laura Loomer. We mentioned that last week. We're on the same side as Laura Loomer. Strange bedfellows. It's the truth.
Animal rights will do that to you.
We're in a moment. Sorry?
Animal rights will do that to you.
Yeah, it sure will. We're in a moment, he said, that we should not let slip away. And I totally agree. If there's any progress on something, let's grab it. And so the article goes on to say, let's not let political polarization blind us to the end game. A reduction in the use of animals in research. Animal research has saved countless lives, but a concerted federal push to reduce its use and support reasonable alternatives is long overdue. After all, some 90% of drugs that appear safe in test animals fail in human trials. A reminder that other species aren't necessarily good models of human systems. So even if they're doing it to save money or because they're anti-science, a lot of this science is really bad science. Like we've moved on to this. The whole organs on a chip and all of the technology is a much better way. And one of the reasons this continues is because of the companies that have money and the researchers who have monies and careers invested in it, not because it's good science. So that was like a bad news story that kind of like is connected to a good news story.
Okay, I like the pivot. I think the next one is a great news story about the Seaquarium.
Yeah, wow, this Miami Seaquarium. Crazy,
Amazing.
right?
Close it.
Lolita lived and died there. Just Miami Seaquarium has just been one of the focuses of animal activism for as long as I can remember, and constant animal activism and constant protests and lots of people focusing on it, lots of legal cases brought, like just a real fight. I mean, when you think of how much work it takes to close down one facility, it's just heartbreaking. But then when you think about the fact that okay, it's over, it's
Mhm.
done, it's closed, they sold it. It's pretty good
You know what
news.
this makes me think of? Last weekend, we went to the Strong Museum of Play here in
Yeah,
Rochester,
yeah.
and we all went, and, there was this area with, like, fake fish, like, kind of, uh, almost like animated fish in a giant tank, but they looked real. It looked like you were at an aquarium. It was very realistic. It was beautiful, and I said something like, "Wow, like, look at how we can make anything ethical." Like, the kids were loving it. They were just all over it. Then we turned around and there's a tank with real fish in it.
Yeah, that was so disappointing.
I know, and there was also something super creepy at the museum, which is that, the grocery store Wegmans started here in Rochester, and it's like a big institution of Rochester, like Wegmans.
Rochester's a small city.
Right,
Gets
s
excited
it's
about like
yeah.
grocery
Yeah,
stores.
so there's a tiny, like, miniature version of Wegmans for little children in, the museum where everything is, like, their size, like, it's tiny little carts and tiny little shelves and, like, it's all just shrunk, and it's made to look like a real size grocery store, and there's, like, a meat section, and, there's, like,
Yeah,
and I don't mean this in a vegan way, but there's, like, fake meat, like,
yeah,
pictures of it, and
yeah.
I
Like
j
plastic
yeah,
imitation meat.
yeah, like, unfortunately not the fake meat that we would have for dinner, but it was the creepiest thing that, like, we're just n normalizing that for little children. I don't know why it creeps me out even more
No,
than
because they were children and they're being just acclimatized to this
yeah.
idea that that's what you buy and that's what you eat and it's made out of plastic and.
A really long time ago, I think in 2007, we took a trip to San Francisco, and I remember there was a store that had taxidermy in it, and then there was a children's store
Oh
next
yeah,
to it, and
yeah.
the children's store had stuffed animal
It was
taxidermy.
connected. They were the
Yeah,
same
same
owners.
store,
Yeah.
and it had, like, the stuffed animal version of it, and it just feels the same thing to me. It's
It
like
was it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. It was these little, like, stuffed elephant heads mounted on the wall
I
for
know.
children.
It's
It was
similar.
insane.
It's very similar to me, as the Wegmans thing because, like, you're just normalizing this horror show.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Children have a lot of work has to go into enculturating children into what we do to animals, and it's probably getting harder and harder for them because, there is more information out there. Not enough, but more. And yeah, well, we're making it sound like the museum was great
Oh, yeah,
and
sure.
and it's huge. It was completely packed with children, which I don't consider a plus, but it was
There's
they were having a good time. And there was one section it was kind of didn't have any kids in it, but it was all about it all had like it had all toys from the 50s
eh
and 60s, which was really kind of fun. And you enjoyed seeing the My Little Pony exhibit
well,
from the
that
80s.
was from the '80s. Yeah, it was the
So
Toy Hall of Fame, which is pretty
yeah.
famous.
There
Like,
was one other animal exploitation thing which we just weren't sure about, but I'm sure if we talk about it, somebody will write to us and say it was totally exploitative. We shouldn't have done it. But they have a butterfly garden
yeah,
and It's
I
a I mean it is, you walk
the
around in it and
conservatory.
it's big enough and there's all sorts of real plants in there and it's
Mhm.
just full of butterflies and like I don't know whether that's a good life or a bad life. There's probably a lot of things there that I just don't know about. But it was not like seeing animals like really confined.
Yeah.
Um, like you see in some other places. So it was hard to figure. It was way too crowded. There were too many
Yeah.
people around, but it was so
Well,
beautiful.
I
Oh
think
my
that's the
God.
problem, the biggest problem. I mean, it is, of course, exploitative inherently. Just
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
it
No, I mean, from a strict vegan point of view, I think it's just like, they're not ours to put on
right.
display.
Yeah, and I was really worried about the quality control of, like, I could see a child, like, clapping their hands to, like, smush a butterfly or
Yeah.
something. So
They should probably ban children from that museum.
I
It would
think that's
be
an excellent business decision for the Museum of
delightful.
Play, for
It
sure.
would be
Or
delightful.
at the very least, have, like,
All right,
curmudgeonly
nobody tell anybody I said
lesbian
this.
hour or something. Curmudgeonly lesbian hour. There should be a curmudgeonly lesbian hour of everything, in my opinion.
Yeah, or, more than 1 hour.
Sure. All right, so let's move on.
All right, and this aquarium closed. Yay! That's all I
Yay.
really have to talk
That's
about
really
that.
good.
I mean, it's not totally clear that all the animal exploitation is over there, so there's still some left. But the big stuff I think
Yeah.
is definitely over, and they have to figure out what to do with the
Wait,
animals.
I
Of
have to say
course,
something. My
they
tea
have to
bag
find
opened.
sanctuary for them.
I just took a sip of
Oh,
my tea and it was like all like tea.
yeah, not that interesting.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead. Tell me something more interesting.
All right. This other article from Economist, Omni. I think this is from the UK. It doesn't say in the article, but I'm pretty sure it's the UK. Omni Pet files first patent for cat food that blends cultivated meat and plant proteins. So it's here, or it's in the UK, or it's going to be in the UK. I don't think it's on the market yet. So yeah, I mean, this is the holy grail of veganism.
I really hope that
Except for
this
people who are against cultivated meat. But if you're going to use cultivated meat for anything,
cat
let's use
food.
it for the kitties.
So wait, what's the status with where it is now and
I
when does
all
it
right.
arrive in my
It
house?
says the UK opened a regulatory path for cultivated ingredients in pet food in 2024, catalyzing pilots and early sales. That's why I think it's in the UK. If
Okay.
costs continue to fall and supply scales, Omni, that's the name of the company, Omni's founder invented hybrid could become a credible first market for cultivating meat, offering a familiar eating experience for cats and a lower impact option for owners. So it doesn't it doesn't say it's on the market yet. I don't know what the timing is.
You know
Sorry.
that unicorn pate, which is like vegan cat food.
Yeah, yeah, from Wild Earth.
Yeah,
Yeah, my cats were like,
mine were too. However, we had bought a lot of it, and so
yeah, I have a lot of it
we
too.
mix it in with the dog food, just like a little bit, and the
Oh,
dogs are crazy for it.
poor dogs.
I don't
I
even know
never
if that's
tried it with my
healthy for
dog.
them, to be honest.
Oh, why
But
wouldn't it be?
just
I
like we
mean,
put a little bit because we have so much of it. And then our
I
friend
don't like
was,
it's cat food and dog food, but that doesn't mean it's food.
yeah, a friend
Might
of
be a
ours.
little rich if you gave them just that because cat food tends to be a little richer than dog food. But other than that, I think it's fine.
I
So
just hope that.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll get in trouble for the butterflies too.
Somebody will be mad about that.
Yeah,
All right, I have something else I want to talk
yeah. Go
about.
for it. What is it?
All right, this is from a flock member, Goose Rodriguez. It's his new book. It's called Someone Not Something. Alguien no algo. I might have pronounced that wrong because it's in Spanish and I don't speak Spanish. And I just think this is the coolest thing. And he and I guess his wife, I'm not sure exactly. He's the named author, but he says that he wrote it with his wife Sylvia Rodriguez, and all proceeds from the book are being donated to their hometown dog street rescue in Chihuahua, Mexico. I'm emphasizing it because you love
I have a
Chihuahua.
few of those in my house right now.
Right. Called again the Spanish Refugio Sacramento. So all proceeds go to them. It's available on Amazon. And the thing that's really cool about it is that it is bilingual. It's
Yeah,
first the whole story done in English. So this is a great tool for kids who are learning Spanish or kids who are learning English. And I love that he did this.
I do too.
So let me just read a little. I'm going to read. Do you mind if I read the whole dedication? Because I kind of loved it.
Sure.
To my beautiful and talented wife, Sylvia, your kindness, compassion, and deep love for animals have shown me a more empathetic way of living. Through your example, I learned to break free from the barriers of indoctrination and to see animals for who they truly are, fellow travelers on this shared journey called Earth. To my dog, Chicharito, your unconditional love, goofy personality, and strong opinions reveal to me the intelligence, complexity, and deep capacity for love that animals possess. Not everybody appreciates dogs with strong opinions. I like that. To all animal activists, thank you for your tireless efforts in fighting for a more just and compassionate world for all beings. And finally, an apology to all animals for not choosing the vegan path sooner. Is that a
Oh my
beautiful
God.
dedication?
That gave me the chills. That's so great. Love it. All right. Well, I think we're just about done here, but I want to remind people that the Veganic Summit is November 7th to 9th, and you can sign up at veganicsummit.com. Very cool program there. And I strongly encourage people to join because fruits and vegetables are, as we have recently talked about on our hen house, grown in non-vegan ways with various byproducts. However, there is a veganic way of doing everything, including growing vegetables and fruits. So this is a 3-day online event from November 7th
And it's
to the
free.
9th.
I
Yeah,
mean, you can get an extra part that you pay for, but the basic program is all free.
it's all free. I love that. That's my favorite price that there is. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in and for subscribing to our hen house, and we'll talk to you next time.